Hello everyone. Today we are going to deal with the topic excretory products and their elimination, in which I'm going to take subtopic human excretory system as well as excretion. Now, before starting this topic, it is very important to know that what is excretion and why excretion is so important for all the organism. So let's move on to excretion first. Now, excretion refers to elimination of nitrogenous wastes produced by the metabolism of mainly proteins and nucleic acid. This metabolic waste is toxic uh, for any organism, so there is a need to eliminate it as fast as possible. Now, animals during their metabolism, they accumulate various kinds of chemicals in their body like ammonia, urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, water, and also ions like sodium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, etc. And these are accumulated because of various types of metabolic activities taking place inside our body. Or another way is excess ingestion of such chemicals or ions. Now, as they are toxic for our body eliminates it through a particular process which is known as excretion. Now, when we talk about excretion, so we can also say that excretion is elimination of nitrogenous wastes produced by the metabolism in our body. Now, depending on various types of nitrogenous wastes produced and on the availability of water, and animals excrete different types of nitrogenous wastes, that too in various forms like ammonia, urea, and uric acid. These three are the major forms. Now, the most toxic waste here is ammonia. But before moving on, let's talk about that how this nitrogenous waste is produced, and this is a small flow chart for it. Now, the food present in our protein digests during the process of digestion, and it gets converted into its smaller forms, that is amino groups. These amino groups are amino acids, and these amino acids are then converted into ammonia and then again converted into urea in the liver. And then this urea then enters inside the blood circulation. Now, this urea is then concentrated by the kidneys, and later on it is removed as a nitrogenous waste product in urine. So this is the basic overview of excretion of nitrogenous waste. Now, we were talking about types of nitrogenous wastes. So we know that mostly nitrogenous wastes are proteins and nucleic acids. They are converted into ammonia, urea, and uric acid. These are the three major forms in which nitrogenous waste is present in animals. Now, you can see here that three types of nitrogenous wastes are there. Most toxic form is ammonia, less toxic form is urea, and least toxic form is uric acid. Now, when we talk about ammonia, ammonia is readily soluble in water, and it also requires large volume of water for its elimination. And because it is highly toxic, it has to be removed from the body very fast. So here There are some organisms like most of them are aquatic organisms. They excrete ammonia, like bony fishes, tadpoles, aquatic amphibians, and aquatic insects. And this process of excreting ammonia is known as ammonotelism. Now, another is ureotelism. Now, as urea is less toxic, it is removed by mammals and most of the amphibians, sharks, and some bony fishes. And it requires lesser amount of water than ammonia. And urea is again concentrated in the blood or urine, and it is then eliminated from the body. And such process of excreting urea is known as ureotelism, and such animals are known as ureotelic animals. Then the least toxic is uric acid. Uric acid is very less soluble in water, and it also helps in conservation of water in the body. So we can on the other hand, we can also say that it is evolved to conserve water in the body of organisms like birds, insects, and land snails. So these are three types of nitrogenous wastes: ammonia, urea, and uric acid. That is, we call it ammonotelism, ureotelism, and uricotelism. Now let's move on to the next one. Now, if we will go through animal kingdom, we will find variety of excretory structures found in different organisms, ranging from invertebrates to vertebrates. The first one is Protonephridia. This is a very simple tubular structure found in invertebrate, and it all helps in elimination of nitrogenous waste. For example, in Planaria, Branchiostoma, Rotifers, etc. Next one is Nephridia, and this is mostly found in annelids. Annelids, for example, very common example is earthworm. Then comes Malpighian tubules. These are very thin, long, and tubular excretory structures, and they open into alimentary canal. And we know that they are present at the junction of midgut and hindgut. And most of the insects have Malpighian tubules as excretory organ. Next is green gland or antennal glands. Green glands or antennal glands are mostly found in crustaceans like prawns, and they are located at the base of second antenna. Then the last one is kidney. Kidney is found in most of the vertebrates, and here in kidney, the structural and functional unit of kidney which helps in elimination of nitrogenous waste is nephron, and we will discuss about nephron later. And I hope you must have understood these types of excretory organs. Now let's move on to the human urinary system. Now let's recall it that you must have you can recall this like the pair of kidneys are present in humans, a pair of ureters is present, and a urinary bladder along with a urethra. So these are the basic parts of human urinary system. If we will talk about location, kidneys are basically located at abdominal cavity, one on either side of vertebral column at the level between 12th thoracic vertebra and second or third lumbar vertebra. And these kidneys are attached at the dorsal inner wall of abdominal cavity. Now here each kidney is bean shaped, reddish brown, and it also measures around 10 to 12 centimeter in length, 5 to 7 centimeter in width, and it is 2 to 3 centimeter in thickness, and the weight is about 150 grams. And if you will look at the structure, the renal pelvis, it continues outside through a place that is hilum, and this hilum is a thin muscular tube, and from that hilum a thin muscular tube is coming out, which is known as ureter. This is ureter, and this is renal pelvis, and from this ureter and renal arteries and veins are coming out. Now we can see that two ureters open, one and two ureters open at urinary bladder, and this urinary bladder is a muscular sac-like structure which is hollow, and we know that it stores urine for a short period of time, and it has a urethra, and this urethra is a membranous tube that arises from the neck of the bladder and conducts urine to the exterior. So this is these are the basic parts of human urinary system. Now let's move on to the anatomy of kidney. Now you can see that externally this kidney looks like this, and this kidney has got concave medial border. This is the concave medial border, and this is known as, we can say this part is hilum, and there are some structures which are entering as well as leaving from this. You can see a red tubular structure, a blue tubular structure. The red one is renal artery, blue one is renal vein, and this thin pipe is ureter. So these are the basic structures which are entering this area, exterior of the kidney. Now let's move on to the next part. We know that basic functions of urinary system are that they regulate fluid balance of the body, and they excrete nitrogenous waste products, and also conserve various types of nutrients during the process of urine formation, which we will discuss later. They also stabilize pH and also regulates in iron concentration in the blood. So these are the major function of kidney. Now let's move on to the kidney's anatomy. Here you can see that location of kidney is also shown along with the internal structure of kidney. Now you can see that the kidney has got, towards the center of inner concave of the kidney is a notch which we have discussed right now, and this is known as hilum. This is known as hilum. Then when we move from this hilum, you will see that ureter is coming out and blood vessels and nerves are entering inside. So blood vessels are renal artery and renal vein. They are entering inside, and ureter is coming out. And this inner to this hilum is a broad funnel shaped structure, and this broad funnel shaped structure is known as renal pelvis. So this is renal pelvis. Then this renal pelvis contains some projections which are known as calyx. So here you can see major calyx and minor calyx is written. So these are the two projections. This one is major calyx and this one is minor calyx. So these are the calyx which are present. Then they are also known as, together they are known as calyces. And the outer layer, this is the outer layer is a tough capsule, whereas inside is divided into two zones. One is known as outer cortex and inner cortex. And then innermost part is known as medulla. So this is medulla. So just remember that inside kidney there are two zones, an outer cortex and inner medulla. Then again medulla is divided into small pyramid-like structures which are known as medullary pyramids. So these are medullary pyramids. And these medullary pyramids are projecting inside calyces. And the cortex extends medullary pyramids as renal columns, and these renal columns are given name which is known as columns of Bertini. They are known as columns of Bertini. So these are the columns which are shown. These are known as columns of Bertini. So this is the basic structure of kidney, internal structure. I hope you must have understood it well. In next we will discuss about nephron. Then again this is again parts of kidneys is given. Kidneys filter about 1700 liters of blood daily in an average adult, and the kidneys are divided into cortex, medulla, hilum. Cortex forms a protective layer. Medulla is inner to cortex, and inner to cortex comes concave depression, and this concave depression where blood vessels, nerves and ureters enter and exit the kidneys. So cortex is the place where blood is filtered, and this medulla contains all the collecting ducts which carry filtrate and then leads to pelvis. So pelvis is the hollow cavity where urine accumulates and later it flows or drains into ureter. So these are the basic functions of cortex, medulla and pelvis. I hope you must have understood this much well. Thank you very much.